current science suggests that there are 2 trillion galaxies. 2 trillion galaxies in the visible universe. Just in the visible universe. 2 trillion galaxies, 700 sextillion stars. That's 700 followed by 21 zeros. And uncountable trillions of planets, probably 60 billion habitable planets in just the Milky Way galaxy, based on current cosmological constructs and what is called the Goldilocks zone. But if you ask scientists today, astronomers, astrobiologists, astrophysicists, are stars and galaxies still being born? And the answer is yes. There is evidence that stars and galaxies are still being born. For example, when it comes to stars, there are entities called emission nebulae. These are clouds of gas and dust where stars are forming. They are often brightly colored because of the hot young stars that are embedded in them. Then there are something called Herbig Haro objects. These are jets of gas and dust that are ejected from young stars. Then there are protostars. These are the youngest stars still in the process of forming. And they are surrounded by a disk of gas and dust from which they are accreting material, gathering material. And then there are open clusters, groups of young stars that are still loosely bound together by gravity. They are often found in emission nebulae. When it comes to galaxies, there are entities called blue galaxies. These are galaxies that are actively forming stars. They are blue because of the hot young stars that they contain. There is something called Lyman alpha nebulae. These are clouds of gas that are surrounding young galaxies. And there are tidal tails. These are streams of stars and gas that can be seen trailing behind some galaxies. They are thought to be the result of mergers between galaxies. So astronomers have also used telescopes to directly observe stars and galaxies forming right now, for example, or that may have formed in the past, but we are observing the forming now. For example, in 2014, astronomers used the Hubble Space Telescope to observe a protostar in the process of forming. And in 2015, astronomers used something called Atacama Large Millimeter Submillimeter Array, the acronym ALMA, ALMA, to observe a galaxy that was forming just 700 million years after the Big Bang. Okay, so not only was the universe born, the universe is being birthed right now and will continue to being birthed. And all this awesome panorama is the only word I can use, awesome panorama of the multiverse, because we're just talking about the universe now, but there are multiverse theories. In all this panorama, here we are, one little speck of dust, as I've said, in the junkyard of infinity. The wonder is that on this junkyard of infinity is a biological organism called Homo sapiens, a name we gave to ourselves, that actually comprehends this, that understands this. And I would go a little further. I would say that your true self, which is unbounded, infinite awareness, irreducible, fundamental, impossible to imagine, non-conceptualizable, irreducible, fundamental, without cause, what I'm suggesting to you right now is your true self engulfs all of this historical time and also multiverses as its own manifestation in the form of fluctuations of consciousness. And that true self, which is the fundamental ground of all existence as formless awareness, is not limited by either historical time or the multi universes that are being birthed. It is not limited by them at all, just like the programs on the screen. If this was a TV screen or computer screen, whatever, with the ability to manifest infinite movies, the screen on which metaphorically these infinite movies are being projected, the screen is not compromised by its productions. As infinite potential, you, the true self, infinite being, infinite divine being, is neither diminished nor tarnished by its manifestations, whether they're so small that they can hardly be seen as subatomic particles, or they're so big or so expanded that they become almost incomprehensible. In other words, infinity is not compromised by its productions in time. And what we call mind-body multiverse are actually our constructs, or the constructs in infinite awareness through language of basically vrittis, fluctuations. So awareness is not bound by its transient, ungraspable, momentary, intermittent, evanescent fluctuations that weave together as a loom, weave together the tapestry of historical time and multiverses simultaneously. William Blake, infinity is in love with the productions of time. So think about this and then ask yourself, why is it that we have deviated so far from our divine self that on this little anthill, on an infinitesimally small mound of dust, we as biological organisms are capable of understanding and engaging in the divine play of consciousness, and also capable of killing each other in the name of the divine. What a paradoxical species we are, divine beings. And so today my message to you, my dear friends, is ask yourself, were we here? Were we birthed in this magnificent tapestry of the multiverse to work hard, to fight because we adopted provisional identities and religions and became tribal? Or are we here to engage in the divine play of beingness? We are stardust beings with self-awareness. We have forgotten who we are. And now we engage in such conflict that we risk our extinction by losing our memory of our divine source. Stardust beings with self-awareness, engaged in divine creative play, is a higher purpose, not squeezing ourselves into the volume of a body or the span of a lifetime, identifying with our provisional manifestations of mind, body, and projected perceptual reality, we have lost our memory. And the only solution to all the problems that we have created is perhaps returning to the memory of our divine self. Think about this. Let me know what you think, and I'd love your feedback on this. I think one of the biggest mistakes our civilization made is that we exist to work hard, to compete with each other at any cost, and just to survive. Okay, a lot of rambling here, but maybe you will find some sense in the nonsensical that makes what we call provisional sense anyway. The ingredients of creation are nonsensical. They're not available to our senses, even though we experience them through our senses.